I'm so excited about today's conversation. I'm sitting down with Kate from Hello Gardens, a fellow garden designer here in the Seattle area who also creates show gardens at the Northwest Flower and Garden Show. Kate and I run in the same circles. We see each other at industry events and across the convention center floor. We wave, but we don't really get time to sit down and talk. So I thought, let's finally do this. We intended to talk just about the show, but this conversation wove in and out because that's what happens when you're in the same world and you never get enough time to connect. This was lovely. So let's dive in. Welcome to the Relish Gardens podcast, where we have conversations about the intersection between the garden and your life and how all of those things are intertwined. How to care for your space, how to prune, basically everything that's related to the design, development, and keeping of a garden. I'm Claire Liddell Hanna, the founder and lead designer at Relish Gardens, where we build, design, and maintain beautiful gardens. Let's dig in. Kate, thanks so much for joining us today. Do you want to start and give us a quick intro?
My name is Kate David, and I'm a Seattle landscape designer. I live and work here in the Pacific Northwest. I commonly refer to myself as a plants woman more than designer because plants are my first true love. My career, I feel like, has been very low profile in terms of people find out about me through word of mouth or
Yeah.
they've been in a garden that I've been in.
Yeah.
And so it's hilarious to me now to have a YouTube channel because I still in my brain think I'm just some lady who likes to garden.
Right.
Even after like 11 years in the business, almost 20 years working in some form of construction, I still
Oh,
just
wow.
think I'm a lady who likes to garden.
I mean, yeah, I get that. I feel that.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's like that's really what drives all of this is just like I really love gardens and I like talking
Yeah.
about gardens. I like thinking about gardens. I like being in the gardens.
I was a 5-year-old and I wanted to be a landscape designer. Those things, when I look back at them, I was like, oh my gosh, this is always who I was meant to be.
I think that at the end of the day, that's what it all comes down to. Taking your hobby and making it your career. It's the good, bad, and the ugly.
I frequently say that my business was born out of a hobby that got well out of hand.
Yeah.
And I don't think everyone is meant to do this. I don't think
Yeah.
everyone is meant to create a business from their passion.
Yeah.
I just think we happen to be the lucky few. And I think there's a higher percentage of people within our horticultural industry that make a living out of a passion. I have such a love for the show because I've gone for almost 25 years.
Oh, you too. Okay. Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, it's been a pivotal event in my life.
Yeah. I was attending as a 20-year-old, kind of outside of her demographic, dreaming
Yeah.
of this business, thinking one day, I might be able to showcase here and kind of walking through with a lot of awe and soaking in as many seminars as I could. I would pack my schedule every single day with a seminar and just drink in knowledge. And so I think I was in year 7 or 8 in business. I kind of thought to myself, I think I'm ready. But I
Mm,
think I still had a lot of that imposter syndrome, a lot of that, oh, I'm just a one woman show. I'm self taught. So I don't have a piece of paper. That I think was more of a barrier than anything. But sometimes you just have to do the thing.
yeah. You have to be scared and do it anyway.
Uh,
Yeah.
for sure. Be scared and do it anyway, you
Yeah.
know? And I really feel like that changed the trajectory of a lot of what I do now. I feel like it almost set the stage for this YouTube journey itself because I found that being out in the wild and connecting with people was so deeply gratifying.
Mm,
And
yeah, I could see that.
it filled a piece of me that I didn't know was really missing.
Because you had the opportunity to kind of like connect with all the people that were in the space, and then through was it like through YouTube you got to do that personally, or
Yeah.
are you weekly?
3 days a week.
Oh my gosh, I don't even know how you do it.
There's some months where I want to cry. And then there's some times where we're able to make it easy, and Brian
Yeah,
will literally follow me shopping, follow me on a commercial installation. And so those are really fun because it's like me in the wild
right.
doing what I would normally do.
Yeah.
And so during those heavy months, like I spend less time filming in my own garden and more time
Mm.
filming outside my garden. Yeah. So we do 3 a week. We're narrowing on 350 videos.
Wow. Your first year at the garden show was my first year with Mark, right? Did you do it before that?
No, my first year at the garden show was the year that we met. The very first year, someone actually pulled out of the garden show. And I just so happened
Oh.
to message Lloyd and be like, hey, is there a spot to do like a city living garden? And he called me and he was like, girl, you're doing a full garden. And I just was like, all right, I guess we're gonna go big or go home. I no tippy
Wow.
toe into it. And I just went honestly, like if you want the true story,
Yeah, yeah.
buckle up, it's a little woo. I literally woke up that morning from a dream that I was
Oh.
talking at the garden show. And my friends came to hear me speak at the garden show. And I woke up with this like weird, like, I gotta do it. I don't know. I don't know why, but I gotta do the garden show. And so literally that first year I did a garden, I spoke, and I did container wars.
You did the first year you did it?
Yeah, I was like, buckle up, baby. If the dream says we do the thing, we get out
Whoa.
there, we do the thing.
Whoa.
I'm not letting the ancestors down. We have one life. We better hit it. Hit
Oh
it.
my I'm impressed. This is my first year doing all 3, and
Yeah,
I can't even imagine doing that in the same year
straight out
that
the gate.
no, there's just no way. That was
And
a big garden.
it was the 360 too, and it was my first
Yeah.
time doing it. And oh my gosh, I was a mess. That inception to execution, I got the wild hair to do it in like October, which is so last minute. And then obviously to inception in February, I
Right.
just was like, all right, we'll figure it out. And literally, I was rolling the carts, like the final carts and a push broom
I remember I felt so bad.
out as the judges were coming in, and, like, the girls from Living Room Landscape, they, like, came on the scene, and they're like, "Oh my god, you're almost done." And I was like, "Where have you guys been?" They're like, "We finished, we went and got a massage." And I was like, I was a mess. I was a mess that first year,
Yeah.
and I was doing Dinner Interrupted.
Was that the name of your show garden?
Yeah, yeah, Dinner
Okay,
Interrupted.
okay, I remember the garden, yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and it was a whole play on mixing edibles and ornamentals, which is, like, so core to, like, what I do with my clients.
Yeah.
I also feel like I just wanted to challenge people's perception of what we think ornamental really is,
Yeah.
which I feel like is so you too,
Yeah.
because I challenge someone to find better fall color than, like, a blueberry. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
just incredible, incredible fall foliage. So it was almost like this play. Dinner was like edibles, dinner was
Yeah.
interrupting the landscape, so that was one
Okay.
piece of Dinner Interrupted, and
Okay.
then also I set the stage like dinner had somehow just been interrupted, so there were, like, napkins laid haphazardly, and I wanted it to feel like almost like this voyeuristic, like you've stumbled into a dinner party,
Yeah.
like, could we be a little spicy about it? And everyone has just, like, vanished. I showed that garden, and my dad had died of cancer just a few months prior.
Wow. You did it right after that.
Yeah, he died in
Oh,
May, and then the following February was the show, and, oh my gosh, I lost my cousin shortly before that. And so
wow.
it was like I had been in this deep grief
Mhm.
and still needing to be joyful and moving on, and I had this display case,
Mm.
and I put a picture in there of my dad and I planting a cherry tree. And I had another picture in there of me and my cousin. And we were both like head first into my mom's camellia on Easter. And it's just our two butts hanging out of the camellia. And my mom said I used to strip the bottom 2 feet of that camellia every year it bloomed. And I would just have blooms and bowls all over the house, like floating. But that year, I talked to so many people. And funny enough, people would ask who was in the photos,
Mhm.
and I actually laughed and cried with people in that garden. And so to stand in a garden and actually cry with someone and talk to someone who is going through cancer treatment and you know what I mean? It just
Yeah.
to have such a visceral whole body reaction with
Yeah.
the public when I was so scared of just being judged for what I wanted to express, it was such a beautifully different outcome that
Yeah.
you could just never put a price tag on. And it just made me realize gardening is so much more about connection than I think I ever realized.
Yeah, I could see that. I love that.
Yeah.
It was healing.
It was super healing. It was like getting on stage naked. But then also everyone is like, "You look great."
Yeah. The first year, you feel so exposed, and to do that
Absolutely.
right after you've lost so many significant people, I think I would have to tuck away for a little while. It's very brave. It's a huge amount of vulnerability.
So yeah, that was the first year. And you were working with
Mark.
Mark on the
Yeah.
Little Prince garden.
Yeah. Lloyd put me in that really kinda last minute. I had so much fun on that garden because when you're just, like, let loose to do the thing that you do, to create and make things beautiful, it was just full creative play without any of the attachment of the rest of the
Oh.
logistics and all of the other stuff that goes into building a show garden. I
Mm.
mean, it's a huge amount of work. I'm curious at kind of your perspective on what it takes to design the show garden and what your process is.
My first year at the garden show, it was like day 3, and I actually spied the garden position that I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And what's so funny is I think I extroverted so hard that I was like, "We need to now go, like, introvert. We are now gonna show my introverted side."
Yeah.
And so forest bathing was all about my introverted side and
Mm.
the core memories that I had of spending time on Whidbey Island. My brother lives on Bainbridge with his husband. And so I had all of these core island memories. And every time I enter an island, like my blood pressure lowers.
Yeah.
And so, and what's so fun is that second year, I was like, screw it. I don't even care what the judges say. And so I walled the whole thing in. And so
Yeah.
you didn't even get to enjoy the garden until you were inside it.
Unless you were inside it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm sure I got doxxed for it, but I didn't care. I was like, "Yeah, but the whole point is this is like an introvert garden." Once you're inside, the whole convention center disappeared, and I was like, "I can do a week in here. This."
A whole week. Yeah. It's a much different experience when you have, like, a little place to kind of
Oh, it was a
tuck
hidey hole for
into a
sure.
little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, and then year 3, that inspiration came later because I was having all these dreams,
Mhm.
and I've had this concept playing in my brain for, I wanna say, 10 years,
Oh, wow.
and it's the concept of urban pastoral because I'm a city girl, but
Right.
also I really love not being in the city, and so how could I bring a concept of urban pastoral to life?
Mhm.
And so that's where the cut flower pathway came from. Like, hey, you don't have like a giant property and these
Yeah.
giant cut flower floret dreams, a pathway. Let's
Right.
do a pathway. And then I had the espalier orchard, which was super fun last year. There was that square kind of in the middle with the platform, but
Yeah.
you could hack off any one of the triangular corners and create a garden out of it.
Oh,
And that's,
interesting. That's
yeah,
compelling.
it was really kind of cool. I wanted the garden to read as a whole.
Right.
But a lot of times people come and they wanna do their own gardening, and I wanted to give them something that was actually attainable,
Right.
as opposed to building this big thing on their own.
Yeah, I think that that's really fantastic and something that people can kinda take away. I hear that a lot. It's like, "These are really beautiful, but I don't have anything I can take away from it. It's too much." It can become overwhelming for people to break it down and say, "What are the little pieces that I can take away from my own space?" And
Yeah,
so to have it kinda cleanly divided and delineated for people, I think is really I think that's, like, really a great perspective on thinking about how to do it.
that was the first, also, that marked year 1 of being on YouTube
Okay.
and dedicating myself to doing 3 videos a week and just being dedicated to that craft
Yeah.
because they always say it takes, like, what, 10,000 hours or
Right.
something. I'm
Yeah,
like,
you gotta put your hours in.
"Hit that."
Just like
But
going the fast route.
yeah, we're just going real fast. We're speeding.
Yeah.
But one of the things that I'm really recoiling against with YouTube and social media and online presence is I'm having a bit of like a recoil against the the mass of it all.
Huh.
Or, someone wanting the start to finish big reveal, big makeover, rip it all out, put everything in. And I just felt like I want to present this garden, but I also want to say you don't have to do it all.
No.
You don't have to buy all the things. You
Yeah.
don't have to get sucked into this concept that everything needs to get bigger, 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 bigger. Because
Mhm.
then it's like that noise contradicts the quiet and the peace that we all feel from gardening.
Mhm.
So, what kind of a social media person would I be if I am out here proclaiming that you need to like throw out all of your plants and bring in new ones? Like, I've done it. I do it
Have
all the
you?
time. But oh, yeah, like I'll go through gardens, when I'm doing them and they're like,
Yeah.
we want to get rid of everything. And I'm like, okay, I will give them away. I will find
Right.
homes. I could go to 10 different friends' houses and like their hillside is done. You know what I mean? With
Right,
free
right.
plants. But I just felt like giving someone little sections that they could go through and be like, I could do that. I can
Yeah.
invest, a couple grand this year, and that could be a dream. And
Yeah.
I just think that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, so that was one of the big inspiration points for that garden.
Do you wanna talk at all about what you're doing this year?
Yeah.
I think people love the run up.
Yeah. So this is so funny. This garden, I had like a very vague idea of it,
Mm.
but it really wasn't until midsummer that everything started really like the juices started cooking. I felt like I was forcing too many things. I knew I was going to do a greenhouse this year. So I'm doing a
Oh,
BC greenhouse, which is awesome.
wow. That'll be fun.
It's going to be super fun. And for some reason in my head, like one day I'm going to do one of the greenhouse gardens. I had it somehow as like this far off goal. And so Lloyd reached out and was like, hey, do you want to do a greenhouse? And I was like, I'll do a greenhouse.
Yeah.
And so the garden evolved very slowly. And midsummer, I got this wild hair to go down to Portland for a weekend because I finally found a class that Francoise Weeks would be teaching them. She
Oh,
has written a beautiful book called Wonder of the Woodlands.
pretty.
And I went down and I took a class from her and we made fairy houses. And she
Oh,
uses
fun.
all reclaimed materials. So barks, seed pods, dried florals, dried mushrooms. She
Ooh,
goes out and she just forages every day.
that's cool.
And she's actually like a florist by trade.
Yeah.
And so she worked as a traditional florist for a really long time. And I went and I took this class from her. I already had her book, but I didn't actually read it until maybe 2 weeks before going down. And I
Oh, wow.
cracked open that book and I read it cover to cover 3 times. And then I went and I took this class from her. And what I started observing is that she is looking at plants through a completely different lens. She's growing things for seeds, for seed pods, for cones, for texture. She's almost not using any florals,
Mm,
which, like, imagine that concept as a floral designer. You're hardly using florals. And her work just all of a sudden shifted everything I thought. And she even sat there and she deconstructed an air plant, like a Tillandsia, and
yeah.
a sedum. She's like pulling it apart. And
Yeah.
I'm like freaking out looking at this. And she said to me, what's the difference between me taking this apart and me cutting a flower to use in a vase arrangement? Just mind blown. Holy cow, she's doing something so different. And she's got an adorable garden. And everything is like teeny tiny.
It's miniature.
It's like elves built it. I don't
Ooh.
even know, and it's very collected and wild and vines everywhere, and I
Ooh.
just started thinking about how I knew it was her garden the second I pulled up to her house, and when
Uh-huh.
a garden is done well, you know who that person is before you even ring the doorbell, right?
Mhm.
And so I thought to myself, "Well, who the heck is the garden maker?" And then I thought to myself, "Am I even the garden maker?" And then I thought to myself, what is even like a gardener's workshop? Like, what is even a greenhouse used for? But to have us create and dream and make magic. And so the title of the garden this year is The Garden Maker's Atelier because I wanted it to be this big question mark of like, who is the garden maker? It's such a humble word. It's like a humble origin. And I think the origin of our craft is humble. And atelier, it's like this big French fancy sounding word, but it really just means workshop, you
Mm.
know? And to have a space for whether it's a garden maker or one of the great fashion houses like Chanel,
Right.
uh, Gucci, I mean, like whatever you want, you need an atelier. So this whole play on the garden maker's atelier was born. It's going to be really fun.
Yeah.
Francoise is actually donating some pieces for the show.
Really? That's really cool.
I'm losing my mind over them.
I'm looking at some of them online and I'm
They're
like,
so
"Ah,
good.
this is so cool." Actually, just telling Lloyd this, I'm like, I really wish I could go, like, a lot more avant-garde than I do. I'm looking at some of this and I'm like, "Yeah, this is amazing."
She calls her process now botanical couture.
Oh, yeah, I could see that.
It's full on botanical couture. And I do feel like some of what you do is avant garde.
I keep trying to push the envelope a little bit, and then I pull myself back. When you're
Oh, but
designing a
why?
garden for the garden show, well, there's, like, these expectations of that, like, people can take it home, and I'm like, one year, I just wanna not have to feel like it's, like, somebody can walk in and go, "I can see myself in this place." I did do a little bit of floral design. Like, I've done a little bit of everything, you know? It's thinking about the plants not necessarily as they would grow in a landscape and recreating a landscape, but I love this idea of thinking about plants as the medium at which you paint with, and to be able
Absolutely.
to completely let loose and to do that in a way that doesn't necessarily have to translate into a specific designed garden space.
With Francoise, the other thing that was really inspirational to me is she's reinvented herself so many times. And she didn't actually start the iteration of this craft until she was almost 70.
Really?
On this like kind of dream board that I have multiple people like Vera Wang. She didn't start designing dresses until she was almost 50.
I know, isn't that amazing?
Julia Child, she didn't start cooking until her 40s. So like we are just starting to cook, girl. Like we're just starting to cook. How
Yep.
amazing is that? And
Yeah.
then we get to continue evolving until the day we die. Like the invention of the garden maker never ever stops.
I
Ah,
totally 100% agree that it's a space in which age is a non-issue, and almost it's like a perspective of understanding time is part of what it takes to build a great garden too. It's like to really understand time and what you can do with it as one of the
that's
core
so
building
true.
blocks. I love that you're, like, thinking about it from that perspective because it is so intrinsic to what we do.
Oh, yeah. I think time is really important. One of my favorite floral designers, Maurice, I was listening to an interview with him, and Maurice was saying the beautiful thing about a floral arrangement is that you cut the flower, you enjoy it in its present moment, you embrace that time, and then you let it go.
Mhm.
And I just thought to myself, how amazing is that? And like, what a beautiful thing that we get to participate in this living, growing, breathing, dying back, living, growing, breathing, dying back
Yeah.
cycle. It's pretty darn special.
It's kind of romantic, the acknowledgement of the fleeting and then the embracing of it because you know that it's gonna be gone. I tell people all the time, it's designing in 4D because you're designing for time, and that's part of the decision making behind the process.
That's how I feel about containers. Containers are
Yeah,
very fleeting for me. It's like, that's just like playtime. That's the sandbox, right?
yeah,
Where it's unlimited playtime.
yeah, I could see that.
Now, are you talking about your garden yet?
I guess so. I haven't done a ton of talking just because I've been holed up working lately, but this year it's a preserver's jewel box is the title of the show garden.
Um,
And so it's all about like last year's seasonal bounty and looking forward to next year's or like the
mhm.
upcoming season. So it's kind of like timed right where we are, a little bit
You're like,
intentional on
yeah,
my
you're like
end.
capturing a moment. And
Yeah,
then
and so and preserving all year long. for this particular garden, it's gonna incorporate the preserves and the bounty of a garden, and
Yeah.
just to kind of, like, acknowledge the bounty that a garden can give you in the context of small space gardening and what you can do in that little tiny space. It's funny because it's a concept I was toying with doing it the first year that I did the garden show, but, I kinda wanted to explore ornamental gardening more than food spaces because I
Yeah,
was really familiar with I think food gardening can be like a gateway to, like, gardening, you know? It's like
for
one of
sure.
those, like, entry points, and so I had done a ton of that over the years, and so I was super nerding out on all the stumperies and wanting to kinda dig into all of that.
This is so funny, but I feel like our gardens are also a snapshot of where we are in the current season of our evolution as humans and designers. Like they capture us in a sense as well, because you did have your stumpery
Mhm.
phase. Well, I mean,
Still very much there.
still very much there. But,
Mhm.
I wonder if that's why I was so drawn to food the first year as well, because I actually taught edible gardening to elementary school kids for years.
Okay, okay.
And I ran a garden club. It was
Yeah.
super fun. And it turns out you can get a kid to eat almost anything if they grow it themselves.
100% agree, except for my
Yeah.
one kid would not eat tomatoes even though they grew them.
Really?
I know, it's shocking. I was like, "This is the way that we are gonna encourage tomato eating," and even
Didn't
off the
work.
vine, it was a bummer. Yeah, I was like, "Well, I guess we gave it the old college try, and if you really don't like it, then I guess you just don't like it."
I mean, you grew it. I guess we move on now.
Now we
Yeah,
move on to other stuff, but no, I totally agree. I don't know if it's just you and me, but the Gardens for the Garden Show, they come from a personal perspective.
they do.
I don't know if it's because it's like we need inspiration to draw from in order to create them, or do you have thoughts on that?
I honestly feel like it's because we do so much designing for other people and we're
Mhm,
so outwardly focused the rest of the year.
mhm.
It feeds our beast a little bit, you know? Because
Yeah,
if you're always designing out, 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 and you forget, like, well, who am I? It's like my garden. Like, well, who is the garden maker? You
yeah,
know, I could easily spend 2 years in other people's garden and completely neglect my own, which is what I have done
same.
historically. Do you know what I mean? This is like
Yeah, oh, yeah.
classic, like cobbler's children don't have shoes,
Yeah,
And so I think that the reason they feel so personal is because it's such an exciting time to not have the limitation of an outward presence. We've got our parameters, but we get to infuse it with our juice and we
yeah,
get to make our own selections and what sings our song. I feel like the best gardens are personal.
yeah, I agree.
And if you want someone to react to your garden,
Mhm.
in an ideal world, we find that client who walks into our garden and is like, "Oh my gosh, you are my person."
Yeah,
Like, it does have to be deeply personal because, like,
yeah.
the more you are, the more you attract those perfect people just for you.
I see that. Yeah,
So I
yeah.
think there's such beauty in it. Let's just be real. It's very scary because people come through and they're gonna judge your garden,
Yeah.
and it's like judging your firstborn.
We can't stick around when they're doing the judging, but there's
No,
definitely when the press comes through, they're doing their own kinda judging, and so you kinda get an idea of what they're thinking.
I think everyone who comes there is doing their own judging.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
I did have
Yeah.
someone walk past my garden one year, and they're like, "Oh, it's a little messy."
Yeah.
And I was like, "You should meet the gardener.
"This isn't for you.
This is
This is
not
not
for
your
you."
space." It's
It's
okay.
like the Jedi mind trick. This is not the one.
It's a great qualifier.
Yes, exactly. I'm like, "Well,
Yeah.
guess we're not working together. That's great."
Right. Yeah, it takes all kinds, right? It's like figuring out what you bring to that design experience for a client versus what you're doing when you're developing a garden. I think for me, it's what I want to nerd out about every year. It's like I want to dig into the agaves last year. It was like I really just want to like nerd out on something and it's outside of the stakes of a client's garden, you know?
Yeah.
It doesn't have to fit. It can be its own thing. I mean, I feel like John does the same thing too. His gardens are definitely super personal and stuff that
Yeah.
he's interested in and he's excited about because you talk to people the whole time and you want to have something to talk about that's interesting and you want to be able to
Yeah.
like communicate with them. And I don't know, if you're uninspired by the garden that you're putting out, it's harder to do that.
Yeah. John is such a perfect example of that because I read his description last year and I looked at Brian and I was like, this man and his evergreen oaks, who would have thunk it? Who would have thunk it? And what's so funny is my brother in law, he is such a plant nerd and he loves the unusual and the niche and the cool Arctostaphylos and the evergreen oaks. They used to live in Northern California and
Oh, yeah.
like north of Bay Area.
Yep.
And
Same.
so I saw the whole thing, coming together, and I texted Todd, and I was like, "Ooh, I got the garden for you."
Mhm.
Yeah, so I think that's so cool. Oh, this year he's doing fuchsias,
Yeah, I know, I'm excited, which is,
and
like, a great year to be doing fuchsias because some of our fuchsias on our properties haven't even
are
died back. They're
still
still up
going.
and just hanging out. I'm like, "Wow, he lucked out this
He
year,
lucked
huh?"
out, but you also know that man is gonna bring in some super niche, unusual specimens.
Oh, yeah.
This will not be your grandmother's fuchsia garden, so,
No.
like, I'm excited to see what he does.
Yeah, it'll be cool. Bloom.
Okay. I have a question for you. Do you feel like the deep freeze of last year, where everything froze hard as a rock,
Yeah.
like a week before the show, do you feel like that was easier to contend with? Or do you feel like 50 degrees in January is easier to contend with?
The weather. I mean, this year,
Yeah,
it's always an issue for the garden show, but this year, it's completely
it's a joke.
throwing it's
You're
silly.
being very mild. It is a
Yeah.
joke right now.
I mean, everything is already bloomed that we would try to be forcing. I feel like I got, like, a pass last year because I did succulents. I did agaves. I was
Basically,
outside of our weather system last year because we kept them protected, and that's all
because
I
you
had to
got,
do.
did you bring everything up from Little Prince for that one?
No, I had been collecting succulents and agaves. I started in May. So I acquired
Wow.
Brian Jones from the Point Defiance Zoo, his personal collection of
No.
agaves. And so that's what we showed. And so that's where it started. I
No.
acquired those in May. And then Little Prince, I had ordered tons of small pieces to fill
Yeah.
everything in, and then a couple other nurseries. T&L, of course, they'd supplied a bunch of stuff for us, but for the most part, most of our stuff, we didn't really have to worry because it was outside of weather in the same way that we're dealing with this year.
Yeah.
So I'm
Well, and
back
then
into that.
I have so many questions right now. We're gonna try to stay focused, but I'm like, okay, what's your growing conditions? Do you have a hoop house? Is it heated? Well,
I would love to have a heated hoop house. Do you have a heated hoop house?
no, but I'm
No.
getting a greenhouse this month.
You are. So jealous.
It's for my house. It's for
For
me.
you. That's fun.
It's for me and all my experiments. I'll occasionally grow things for clients or
Yeah.
push things on, and
Yeah.
so I'll finally have a protected space. But
That's so nice. Yeah.
this year is bananas. A couple months ago in the fall, Northwest Nurseries got in a bunch of gorgeous buttermint camellias. And I'm like,
Ooh, yeah.
these are great. And they'll be blooming. I'll just bring them in and warm them up a little bit before the show. They all blew.
They're already done.
All
Yeah.
three of them blew.
Yeah.
I've got a couple of scattered blooms left. And I'm just like, wow, okay, well, I guess I will sell these. Yeah. So the weather this year is insane. I can't quite figure out how it's going to turn out. But I think what people don't understand is when you design the show garden, I feel like you can go in there and just play with what's existing.
Mhm.
Or there's people like you and me who get a little obsessive, and we may or may not have 32 verbascum coming into bloom in the basement right now.
There you go.
So,
Go after it.
as one does,
Right.
verbascum is actually really easy to force. You bring it in and you warm it up, but it's usually not blooming until the middle of summer. I'm always like this. I brought in just like a small little handful last year to the show, and people were like, "Oh, that's really pretty." And I'm like, "Do you understand? Do you
Do you know what a
understand?
big deal this is?
Do you know what a big deal this is?" I mean, last year I even had dahlias blooming in my basement. And the reason they didn't make it to the show was because they all got powdery mildew at the last minute. And two of them got aphids, and I had to evict them. I was like,
Mm,
not on my watch, girl. Out you go.
right.
Like,
Yeah.
and they died a swift, horrible death in my side yard in January.
Do you have an IPM program in your basement?
Just- you would think that I am like growing some crops down. I got humidifiers, we've got fans going, we've got
Wow.
like pest management
There you
programs.
go.
Yeah, Brian was upstairs and he's like, I'm finding way too many fungus gnats. And I was like, I am so sorry. Yeah, hooked up with the wrong girl. Are you forcing anything this year?
I'm not. Yeah. No, I'm not.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Are
Yeah.
you doing any bulbs this year? That's my other thing. Is this going to be the first year you do bulbs?
I no, I just really stay away from bulbs.
I love it.
I
I
don't
love that you do
I
it.
am gonna put some in this year. Maybe they might all be gone. They might already be done. I'm kind of having to do some of this on the fly because of the changes in the weather. I'm having to reapproach a little bit differently this year.
Yeah.
But I mean, you always do. There's always something that has to get readjusted and reconfigured. I did have to do that last year because we were going to have an olive dug in Oregon. Little
Wow.
Prince was going to dig us an olive, but it froze the week that we were supposed to get the dig and we couldn't get it transported. It was supposed to be massive olive. We had to reconfigure that space, missing a giant olive tree.
Oh
You
my
know,
gosh.
sometimes it just happens and you just have to kind of roll with it. And I mean, I think Lloyd said to me really early on, he said, if one thing holds your whole design together, you've done it wrong. And I was like,
Absolutely.
so I kind of come back to that a lot, but it's really hard. You
Heart
start to
set on
fall in love
something.
with these
Yes.
like little pieces and you're like, but that was going to be so good. You guys, like, you don't even know
Or
how good that was going to be.
or you fall in love with a color palette, and this has
Yeah.
happened to me twice now. I fall in love with a bulb color palette, and then none of them are ready to bloom for the show, and I've
Right.
gotta pivot my entire color palette 2 weeks before, maybe even a week before. Like, it's a hot mess.
Yeah, that's always challenging. There's, like, some
Yeah.
things I will 100% stick with before the show, and then there's the things I'm like, "That'll figure out closer to the show when."
Anything you do is gonna be good.
Oh, thank you.
Honestly, anything you do is gonna be good because it's you and it has your touch on it.
Aw, that's
Um,
very sweet. We'll see how this
okay,
goes, but
yeah.
I don't even know this year because stuff's already blooming.
Oh, I know.
We have roses in our gardens that are blooming. What is this?
What are you even doing?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did talk to Lloyd maybe last week, and he's like, "Kate, this is a year you go out 2 weeks before and you figure it out then." And I'm like, "All right, Lloyd,
We're all gonna be doing that too.
we're
I'm
all
like,
gonna be
"Oh,
doing that."
no.
Yeah.
Oh, no."
I am gonna bring in a lot of conifers this year
Are
because
you?
what
I
I'm
love
bringing some
conifers.
I I love a conifer, and the other
Yeah.
thing about a conifer is I've been hesitant to use them some years because then they live 70 degrees and then you kick them out into 30 degrees and they
Yeah.
freak out and their
Yeah.
leader dies or I mean, pick your disaster, right? But I'm using a lot of like mounding pines,
Mm.
some spruces, a lot of really great weepy things too.
Ooh, yeah, yeah.
That's
Nice.
great because
That'll be
like
fun.
no leader involved. So if that
Right.
sucker goes up and dies, we're still good.
Yeah.
So I'm playing with a lot of blue conifers this year.
Oh, that'll be fun. People
Yeah.
love those. It's always, like, the thing that people are drawn to in their gardens, I think.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
clients when I come out, it's like, "I love this," and it's always like a blue conifer of sorts.
Well, and I felt really inspired by Francoise because she plays so much with texture
Yeah.
and she loves a cone, whether it's in its form or it's
Yeah.
deconstructed. And I'm like, well, gosh, like, how do I not put conifers in the garden?
Yeah.
And I don't have to worry about them not blooming, blooming too much, blooming too little. Like, you don't have to worry about that.
Right. It's like the agaves, it's outside of the weather issues.
Yes, yes, precisely. I just did a video this past week on breaking down the retail cost of our display gardens because I get a lot of questions.
I do too, yeah, definitely.
Man, they're like, what would this cost? How much are these plants? So on and so forth. And so Brian and I sat down and we actually calculated out retail costs. And then we calculated the labor.
Oh, yeah, you have to, because people ask you, and it's like, you wanna give them a fair understanding of what this would cost to put in their own home.
Yeah.
You want that fair cost. So, did you do last year's garden or
Yeah. Last
okay,
year's garden, not including my incessant shopping and design time.
yeah,
Not even including that. We're just talking about the guys coming in, labor, lighting, so on and so forth. It
yeah,
was $69,000.
yeah, that's about right.
But when I did go back and I looked at that, the thing that really stood out to me was how much donated goods, donated labor,
Mhm,
donated partnerships were
mhm.
included in that garden. The other question I get is, why would you do this? Why
because it's
on
fun.
earth would you do this? And what it came down to for me is I feel like this is one of the only times I ever get to just design for me.
Right. Yeah,
And I get to like
definitely.
create something really pretty to share and inspire. And so that fills like a very deep well of wanting to inspire and connect with people.
Right.
But then the other thing that I feel is so special about the show, and I don't know if you feel this way, but it's one of the only times that we are creating side by side.
Yeah.
And there's this magical symphony of people in our industry. I'm looking over and like you're working your craft, and Tony's behind me doing his thing. And John from Homegrown is all in on his evergreen oaks and just nerding out. But we're all doing this together. And
Mhm.
I do think there's a universal energy that we also really just love this show.
Yeah.
Because if you look at the dollar amount, I could pay so many different people to advertise for me or edit videos or do things with a bigger, broader reach.
You hit on one
Yeah.
of the things that I see is that one of the things I love about this is doing a design that's just like it's outside of the box of any other space that you would do it in, right? It has different constraints,
Yeah.
but it's a completely different set of constraints. I was actually talking to Stevie today. I was telling Stevie, I was like, it's a lot of work and it's easy to focus on the fact that it's a lot of work. And he said, I think what it feels like, it's like a holiday for the parents where it's like so, so much work that you do to build these like memories and this experience. And you're building all this stuff for your kids to have that kind of special holiday or your family or whatnot. And I feel like the garden show is like it's like a holiday for us gardeners. So we get to see all our people that are in the same industry. We get to celebrate together. We get to kick off for the rest of the season. And I'm like, I think that that's what
Yes.
I love for about it so much. It's like, oh, I haven't seen you like for a year. Then you like get to connect and catch up and just, like it gives you, like, that I don't know, the little bit of an endorphin rush to kinda, like, move into the spring, and I think we all have that innately, but sometimes gardening can be a very solitary endeavor, and you're doing a lot of this kinda stuff on your own, and then you come to the garden show, and it's, like, all your people. You just get to see everybody and celebrate together. I think that that for me is, like, huge.
It is huge. And what's so fascinating, I did an interview with John Christensen maybe like a year ago.
Mm,
I was shopping for some bare root stuff. John Christensen up at Christensen's Nursery,
mhm.
iconic legend, plantsman. He actually got his start at Molbach.
Really?
Yeah.
Way back
uh,
when, huh?
Way back when. And, he was kicking around with Cisco Morris, like, OGs, like,
To be a
God,
fly on that wall, huh?
with the Godfather, right? Like, Cisco, the Godfather of gardening in the Northwest. But he was saying that what he loves about the show is it's a kickoff for the industry. So I don't
Yeah,
think people even realize what a ripple effect. It's
it's
not just
huge.
we're coming together, we're enjoying this together, but it translates into our businesses, it's
Mhm.
almost even if there's no, like, dollar to dollar. I met this client at the show, I go and I do their garden 2 months later. It's not even that because, like, we break down the show and all of a sudden we're off like a shot.
Yeah.
It's like the starting gun, right?
Yep.
But it also translates to the nursery retail industry
Mhm.
because really, it gets people so excited about new plants, new discoveries, what they can do, what the possibilities
Yeah.
are. It's like so much freshness. I feel like for me, December 31st is not New Year's Eve. New Year's Eve is the garden show. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
like the first day of the show, that is New Year's Day. Like, cause
Yeah.
there's really the energy of like hundreds and thousands of people coming in.
It's amazing.
It's such good energy. It's so cool. We're all there with like the same passion, you know? It's
Yeah.
like when do you get to nerd out with 60,000 people, right? So, show breaks down.
Yeah.
What do you do with your plants? Where do they go? Where do they find a home?
Sometimes they're still in my backyard.
Guilty.
It's a lot of plant material that's coming at you, and not all of it is
Yes.
at the quality that I wanna pass on to my clients. Sometimes we'll pre-talk about certain plants, and often they just get a fantastic deal if it comes from the show garden and into their garden. This year is actually probably going to be a great year because, you know, knock on wood, but the weather's warmer, and so we're not gonna have those drastic fluctuations in the weather, but, like, you take stuff in and you force it at 65-degree weather with lights, during the show for a week, and then you bring it back outside, sometimes it goes into shock, so it's a great way for, people to get some great plants that
Mhm.
maybe are gonna be looking better the following year than they will this year. Do you take it all
Yeah,
home?
full of different things. So a lot of times the bulbs, I give them away to every person who's helped me.
Oh, nice.
I give them away to like my local Buy Nothing group because I can't plant all of these.
Right.
I've decked out my brother and his husband's garden in hundreds of white thalia bulbs. And
Nice.
those actually look gorgeous and they're like naturalizing and they're just
Wow.
awesome. Other times I have certain clients that I'm like, oh yeah, this is like for them. This year, I'm thinking of doing something different. First, I ripped out my backyard. And
Mm,
so I have just wide open bed spaces that still need to be
nice.
filled.
Okay.
So some of those plants will come back to my house
Mhm.
and find a future home there. And then I'm thinking of doing a yard sale.
I've heard of
Okay.
people doing that.
I can't keep hanging on to all of these like antiques
It's
and
too
shiny
much.
things that I love. Because when I do a garden, I fill it with accessories and
Yes.
things and all of that. Do you wanna do a garage sale with me?
Yes, let's do a combined one. I would
Oh,
love
what
that.
my
We could do a
gosh.
combined one and then just do a big sale.
It's
I would
just
love that. Let's just, like
salvage goods, antiques, and plants.
I have last year's
Boom.
too.
Yeah, yeah, there we go. You heard it here first. But wouldn't that be amazing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come say
So,
hi.
come say
Yeah.
hi, let's have a chat. We'll just, like, have a couple thermoses of coffee and
Yeah.
pastries and just have a good time.
I'll have some
That would
jam.
be Oh, yeah, and, I do have to say, the really fun thing about you being so close to me this year again is
Yeah.
last year, I remember being up on my, like, top pedestal, and I'd be like,
Yeah.
"Hey, Claire."
Hey.
I had, like, a bird's eye view of your garden, it was so fun. So I won't be as high up in the air, but I'll still
Yeah.
wave. Yeah,
Oh, yeah, there you go. We'll say hi.
yeah,
And then
yeah.
we're doing container wars together.
I'm still so mad about that. I'm so mad about that.
Are you? I'm
I
just like, "This isn't fair." She does so many containers, like, this is literally not fair.
Well, I just dissent because they did this with me and Cindy Funes, and I
Oh,
was like,
yeah.
"Why are you putting me with my people? Like, I
Yeah.
don't wanna battle my people. Like, put us on, like, a team. Like,
Yeah.
bring someone in from the outside that I don't know, that I don't totally love and appreciate, you know?" So, yeah, so it'll be fun. We're gonna do
It'll be
containers. It's gonna be
yeah.
great.
I've only seen your YouTube video on container wars. That's the only one I've seen. I've never been to one,
Oh,
so
really?
it'll be interesting. Yeah. You got any tips?
Oh my gosh. You know what's so funny? I got a call from Susan
Yeah.
Brown.
Okay.
She called me and she was like, "Kate, you gotta give me some tips. What are we doing out there?" And I was like, "When did I become the OG container lady?" It was so funny. And I'm like, "Susan Brown, you can design a container with your eyes closed and one hand tied behind your back. Like, you got this." I honestly think that you just take a deep breath and you have a good time.
Right.
And I almost feel like the less serious I am, the more fun I have and the more creative I can be.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be perfect.
Yeah.
And sometimes you literally can't even like shove the plants in
Yeah.
properly. There's like root balls everywhere and it's not pretty, but
Yeah.
it is a good time. It's pretty fun.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. I think it'll just be fun. I don't have any illusions of grandeur. I'm gonna, like, get up there and forget the words of the plants and be like, it's this plant that does pretty stuff, and
It's this
isn't it cute?"
plant. Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's
It's
pretty and it's
fine.
got a nice color. Oh, I do have a tip. I do have a tip. People are looking at this from 30 feet away.
Okay, so it's not about
Using
nuance. Yeah.
it's there is no nuance. They want it bright and they want to be able to see it from 30 feet away.
Oh, interesting, because when you're doing gardens in a home setting, you're designing for people to be
Yes.
really up close to them, so that's
Yes.
completely different.
Yeah. So that's where
Okay.
you have to like find the balance of like if someone is looking at this from 30 feet away, are they going to see a green blob?
Oh,
There you go.
that's a great tip. I would not have thought. There you
Hot,
go.
hot tip coming in.
Nice. Now where it's a little more even.
It's, yeah, I've even the playing field. We got this.
There you go. Well, Kate, I appreciate like getting to connect with you, and it's just so busy so many times. It's nice to be able to
Yeah.
chat and before the garden show kind of comes along, and it's just lovely chaos. I'll see you at the garden
Okay.
show.
I know. See you in a couple weeks.
Gosh, can't believe it. We got it. We got this. No biggie. We'll see ya. Bye. If you're able to come to the show this year, we'd love to see you. And we're going to be giving away 2 tickets each week. If that sounds like fun to you, check the show notes for the link to enter. Hope to see you there. That's it for today's episode of the Relish Gardens podcast. If you love this conversation, make sure to subscribe. We've got new episodes every week. And if you know a gardening friend who'd love this, send it their way. Sharing the show helps grow our little garden loving community. Until next time, I hope you find something in your garden to truly relish.